So we just covered the 3 levels. Let's rock into money models and offer stacks. All right. So you will notice throughout this whole training that some of the things are a little bit different from the book, and that's done on purpose because I like to think through things differently in different mediums. All right, because I can say things here that I couldn't normally say in the book. So we'll go definition, rental car story, and the gym launch example. All right. So a money model is a series of offers. That's it. The reason I had to start with the offers book before talking about the money model book is that an offer is one unit. A money model is sequencing these things, is putting them in a series of offers deliberately to maximize gross profit collected in the first 30 days. So I will say this all together. A money model is a series of offers. A good money model, which is the objective of this book or this training, is a series of offers structured to minimize CAC, how much it costs to get a customer, maximize gross profit, how much they pay you, collected in the first 30 days, how fast they pay you. That's the point. So I'll tell you a story. So we've all seen a money model happening. Some of you guys just didn't know it was happening to you. So I remember this crazy example of one time I was going, I think I was going to Colorado for some reason. Went to Colorado. I line up. I'm like on my phone waiting in line for a couple minutes, and then they pull me up to the rental car counter, right? And the lady was like, "Hi there," very like chipper. I just remember a big chipper. Anyways, and so she asked me a number of questions as she's going through the rental car process. So she says, "Hello, sir. Can I have your ID so I can look up your reservation?" And so I'm barely looking up from my phone. I'm like, "Yeah, here you go." And so she, extends her hand, smiling. And I've been waiting for a few minutes, right? So I just wanted to get in my car. So I hand my ID. Cool. So then, and I'm at that counter. You can see like I'm kind of like leaning over. And so it doesn't look like we have the car that you reserved. Are you okay with a Tundra? It's red. And so I was like, "Yeah, sure, that's fine, whatever." And, so I'm not really paying attention. And then she says, "Okay, I've got you down for 3 days. Would you like to have a late return so you don't have to worry about late fees or turn-in time, if you're in a rush to get to your plane flight?" So she asked her head, kinda like with her head cocked, and I was like, "Yeah, I guess that's fine. Flexibility is good." And so she was like, "Okay, great. So give me a second, just putting that in. Would you like to upgrade your insurance to cover any bumps and scratches in the car? It covers any and all damage that occurs in the vehicle during your stay." And so I was like, "No, I'm good. I have no plans on drag racing, right? It's ha ha ha." And she's like, "Okay, so just the minimum insurance then?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fine." I barely looked up, right? I'm just like going through this 'cause I want to get the car. And she's like, "Okay, then I have your keys ready in a second. Do you want to prepay for your fuel so you don't have to worry about filling it up? You can return it on empty and not have to worry about paying it. We fuel gas at 3.75 a gallon." And I was like, "Well, what's gas cost around here?" And she was like 3.50. And I was like, 25 cents, per gallon. Yeah, sure. That checks out. That works. And so I was like, so an extra $2.50. I was like, "Well, that sounds reasonable. That's not a big deal. I don't have to worry about it." So boom, sign me up for it. I'll prepay the gas. And so she says, "Alrighty then. Well, here's your ID. Can you sign here for me?" Great. There's your receipt. On the back, I circled the parking space. Just go around the corner and past the restroom sign. Go past the first 3 columns, and you'll see the J space on your left. Your Tundra should be about halfway down. Enjoy your trip. All right. And so, mind you, right, I take my thing, I'm walking away, right? And I look at my receipt, and I just paid $400 for a 3-day rental when I had reserved online for $19 a day. And I was like, I went from $19 a day to $400. What had just happened? A well-engineered money model. And I remembered that moment, and I was like, I need to write this down. This is the perfect example of what it looks like to create a money model. A series of offers structured sequentially to monetize the customer and provide as much value as humanly possible. So if we think through each of the upsells, she first upgraded my car from a Toyota Yaris to a Toyota Tundra by saying that my reservation wasn't there. Now, in my life, I've never had the car that I've reserved actually available. I don't know if some of you guys said, I feel like I've never actually had the car that I asked for there. So this is the classic Seinfeld joke. He's like, "Oh no, I think you know how to take the reservation, but you don't know how to hold the reservation." And that's the main part of the reservation, right? And so we went from, and just from that, I went from $19 a day to $69 a day. Right now, she solved my big guy in a small car problem by offering it. Now, did they probably have another Yaris-like vehicle? Probably. She just made the offer, and I said yes. Second one she did was late checkout. So this it would add a half day or a one-time fee to my reservation. Now, I think I can't remember if I declined the offer. But the point is that they made this fee up to begin with. This is the main part of this, is that The idea of late checkout only exists because they decide that if you check out past a time that they made up arbitrarily is now late. And so what I want to really put into your minds right now is that I'm explaining the policies, but there's a game maker who made the rules of the game. They created this fee. Think about like if you start rental cars, you don't immediately say, "Oh, if someone comes back an hour later, I'm going to charge them." You don't. We think that now because that's how it's always been, but it wasn't always like that. Some guy figured it out, and then every other rental car started doing it. The next one was the insurance upgrade. Now, a lot of you guys saw me not take this, but I did take insurance. I didn't even realize it, and I use this for everything after this point. And so she said, "Do you want to upgrade your insurance?" Now, implied in the language is that I already have insurance by saying, "Do you want to upgrade your insurance?" And so some customers will take the upgrade, which is fine. But the real sale is the minimum package. She then said, "Oh, would you just want the minimum then? You don't want anything else, do you?" Those are implied sales. Do you want anything else besides the thing I just said? The minimum offer, meaning you have to get it because it's minimum. But the thing is that you don't have to buy it. A lot of, by the way, credit cards already have rental car insurance built in. If you have Amex, for example, and you do trips on Amex, they cover rental car insurance. And so this is pure profit for them. All right. So pro tip for you. But the thing is, and this is the really sexy thing, is that this is masterful naming. So if you have multiple packages, you can downsell your minimum package knowing that 90% of people might take it simply because you called it the minimum package. Instead of saying, "Hey, this is my shitty package," think about how different minimum is versus economy package, right? Minimum is like, well, okay, I have to get it, right? Kind of interesting. All right. So the next one is prepaid gas. Now, this one was sneaky in that the way it's positioned, to be very clear, you want to make sure the customer understands things. All right. Now, this one particularly was one that I did the math and I thought it was like, okay, 25 cents extra per gallon. That's a fine deal. The way it actually works, by the way, is you prepay the whole tank. So you buy a full tank, and I think the Tundra had like whatever, 25 gallons in it. So I actually ended up paying $93 for a tank of gas up front. And so basically whatever I don't use is profit for them. And so if I use half a tank, not only did I charge 25 cents more for the gallon, but the half tank I didn't use is just it's extra profit for them. But the advantage is when you turn it in, you don't have to fill it up so think about this. They create a fee to avoid a fee. Because if you imagine I had a rental car company, I could just say, turn the car in with whatever amount of gas you have, and I fill the car back up, and that could just be factored into my price. But instead, or I could just say, we fill it up at this rate, whatever you don't fill up, we'll fill it up and we'll charge your card afterwards. That would be an easy way to do it. But instead they say, we're going to charge you more. We charge you $5 a gallon or $10 a gallon if you turn the car in with less than full gas. If you turn the car in with less than full gas, but then you prepay the whole tank, then you still bought the whole tank to avoid paying the fee that they're then also still going to fill the car back up again. Again, like I say this so that you can understand the thought process that went into structuring the sales process. Like there's a reason these guys do billions a month in sales. And for those of you who are like, "Man, I don't like this," the rental car industry wouldn't exist. They actually run very thin margins. Like there's, you know what I mean? Like it's not like they're raking it in here. There's people who crash the car. There's a lot of other costs that go into renting a car. And so for you, you cannot shy away from capitalism. I mean, if you want to be a business owner, you have to make a profit in order to be able to scale your business, to help more people. And if they did not make this profit, it would be a wild inconvenience for us. Now, Uber then exists later, much later, that can sort of help, but still having a rental car company there is nice. Okay. Finally, there's damages. That's an implicit upsell. If you scratch the car, you got to pay. All right. And then late return, yet again, they invented the line, then we had to pay for it. Okay. And so these are all the offers that they offered to me in that one conversation. And so for those of you who are afraid of making a second and third and fourth and fifth offer, did it seem like I was annoyed? Not really. And also, what is the price I have to pay as a business owner? What do I get? If the cost is that 1 out of 20 customers gets upset, 1 out of 20 people is just crazy, period. If you deal with general population, for those business owners who do, I came from Gen Pop, so I get it. There's just crazy people. And you don't want to, not make offers to 19 out of 20 sane people because of one crazy person. And so the cost would be maybe you don't have a business or you don't make a profit, or you have 1 out of 20 people who complain. To me, the trade is clear and I'm still going to make the trade. And so my goal is that you walk away by the end of this book and training with eyes tuned to finding money models. All right, and understanding what makes them work. And studying some of the biggest brands in the world will become an endless learning experience for you, which is what I absolutely recommend is look at their money models. If someone's been around 30 years in the same industry, they have figured it out. Look at what they do. And the cool thing is you can take things from rental cars and apply it to insurance. You can take things from here and apply it to teeth whitening. Like it doesn't matter. You take this from here and turn it to plumbing. Like these models are more psychology in terms of how they work and get and are persuasive than they are industry specific. So that's my rental car story. So gym launch, just to give you an idea, when we went from $1,000 in my bank account to $17 million in profit in 20 months. So remember, December 2016, $1,000 in my bank account. 20 months later, $17 million in profit. The only way that happens is through having a money model. And it only scaled because insanely fast because of our insane customer finance acquisition. So remember level three, it should say level three, is 2 times CAC, right? It should say level three. Okay. So these were our actual metrics. So people don't share this. These were the actual metrics. Is that our 30 gross profit was 6K, our CAC was 500, our 12-month gross profit was 48,000. CAC, 48,000. CAC. So if I have an investment for you and you pay me $500 and I pay you $48,000 back at the end of the year, is that a good investment? Now, what if I said you can do it as many times as you want? You would put as much money into that machine as you possibly could. Now, the real question is, what's your budget? If I said, I've got this ATM machine, you put $500 in and then $48,000 comes out, would you budget yourself? Would you say, hey, I'm only spending $5,000 a month on this? Of course you wouldn't. That's why the idea of marketing budget is ridiculous. If you design a properly designed money model, you can outmake the budget. And then the budget doesn't matter. The point is to spend as much as you possibly can within KPI. KPI meaning key performance indicators. All right. And so our 30-day GP to CAC was 12 to 1. So within 1 month, if I spent $500, I got $6,000 back in the first month. So I'm making money, making money. And so this was like the offer stack for Gym Launch. So front is we had a free book, Lead Magnet podcast. That was the front end. All right, so we got people into our world to see what we were about. Then the second offer we had was a free strategy called to apply the stuff that they learned here into their business. So we'd say, hey, and the way that we did this was we said, listen, leave your card at home. We want to help you out. And if it's a good fit, we'll invite you to another call. That way it was low pressure. I'd say, leave your card, don't worry about it. Then we'd do the second call, and then we'd offer the $16,000 thing, which was 16,000 fill your gym intensive. So that was our premium offer with very attractive payment terms. So they could put $1,000 down and then to pay $1,000 a week, which no one did. And to this day, to my knowledge, no one else ever has done. And the reason we could do that is because we actually made them money. And so most gyms couldn't afford the $16,000, most of them, but we could make them more than $16,000 in their first month, and then they would pay for it. So I just want to get as many people to say yes because I knew we could crush it for them. Now, offer 3 was the supplement selling secrets course or training. This was free. All right, that was cool about this. So it was free. All we had to do was get them to buy products. We'd give them the training for free, and then we would get them to sell the products. When I say get them to, I just like we explained how they would make more money selling these products and why they were specifically made for gyms. And so I had price protection that no other company would offer. They got to use basically backdoor links for their customers so that they were the good guys rather than me being the good guy. So like one of the things that I hated about other brands was like I would sell at this price, but they would compete against me online. So I would get them the customer and then the customer would switch to them. And I hated that. And so as a gym owner, because I'm like, I'm paying for this cost, like I'm just transferring over to another brand. That feels bad. And so what we did was we said, we're going to be priced here online. You can offer this price in store. And then that way people will always keep buying from you. So I made that advantage. And obviously we just made the economics work for us on the back end. And that's how the supplement company started the first month doing 1.7 million a month because we actually solved the problem for gyms. They didn't have to carry inventory. We would do it. We allowed them to sell subscriptions because we would deliver on it. So we solved all these problems that I wish I had had as a gym owner. I made a company that would solve it. And so then the fourth thing we did was you did a free feedback call. So this was basically saying, okay, you're halfway through, you're 8 weeks in. Let's talk about, where you're at, how much money did you make? Cool. So what we did was a free with commitment offer, which is something that we'll talk about in the fourth section of this training, which is continuity offers. And so basically what we would say is, hey, you have 16 weeks. you're 8 weeks in, say yes now, and I'll give you all the stuff that you're gonna get over the next 3 years if you say yes today. And you'll just keep paying your existing thing. So you're just gonna get more for nothing. And then the end of the 6 weeks, or so end of the 8 weeks, the next 8, right? 16 total, 8 halfway point. At the end of the next 8, it'll just revert into this cheaper billing that you get for a longer period of time. And so they were currently paying $1,000 a week. They would say yes, get more value, not pay more, keep going, and at the end, it would fall down to a lower rate. And all that the objective of this bonus was to get them to agree to continuity on the back. Specifically, a higher level of continuity, because we had a kind of built-in continuity, which was super cheap. That was like, I think $500 a month, something like that. But what we wanted them to get to was the $3,200 a month level that that the upsell offered. So that's how we got so many people to say yes. And to be fair, that's how we did it for years. No, it doesn't have to be complicated. If anything, simple scales. So you want to have as few offers as possible that allow you to make the most gross profit possible in the shortest amount of time. All right. So understanding how to do this can change your business forever. So that is fundamentally examples of money models and what a money model is. Great. Kaboom. Now we talk about the 4 types of offers that create money models to begin with.